Okay, we're live, folks, with another episode of BS Busters, and this one we're just messing around. There's no agenda here. We're just hanging out. So,
We're
uh,
just shooting the breeze here, ladies and gentlemen, so please enjoy yourselves as we talk trash about what is coming before the holidays.
that's
And
right.
have an early Merry Christmas.
Yeah, because currently the day after tomorrow. So, but before we go any further, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the BS Busters. I am Joy Eli Moonstar, the gaming mage, and it's going to be a holly jolly new year coming soon. But first, we gotta shovel one last piece of BS.
Well, actually, this is more of a just dicking around. I mean, there is some BS, but I think people are just going to bring it up as they want to. Like Bethesda trying to bribe people into liking their games by giving people access to better Fallout games
I'm
that weren't made
sorry,
by
what
Bethesda.
was that? What was that you said? Because
Bethesda,
that sounded like bribery.
yeah, Bethesda gave owners of Fallout 76 the Fallout Classic Collection, which has the Fallout by Bethesda. So Fallout 1, 2, Tactics.
Oh God.
You
Bethesda's giving money to people to do.
No, they're giving people
They're giving away
collection of
games.
old games to make up for how shitty Fallout 76 is.
Oh, jeez.
And I thought
they
Artifact was being a bad thing.
and they apparently gave certain people those bags, those collectors, like canvas bag. Canvas bags aren't that expensive, I've heard.
No, what they did is they gave the people who were part of the media who were going to hype up Fallout 76 at this event like really, really fucking nice canvas bags. But the people who pre-ordered the same thing for two, they said, well, it's too expensive, and so we swapped it out for a cheaper thing, which is kind of shady because most people will tell you that special edition stuff is normally you're not really making money off of it. You're lucky if you break even.
Yeah, that's why it's limited to run special editions. So,
yeah, it's just there as a nice little bit of swag for people who really like your product. It's not there for,
It's for those hardcore fans, not the casuals.
Yeah, it's kind of like this, right? It's like when Capcom released Steel Battalion with like the statue and the controller and like anime that came with it in the game. Like, of course they were losing money on that, right?
Yeah.
It was extravagant. People who really like Steel Battalion and really like the idea of that massive controller and everything. It's like almost like a kind of like, man, isn't this cool type of thing. But I mean, like, you can't, and even if it was too expensive to make it, you can't change shit at the last minute just because, well, this is so expensive. But I mean, this is Bethesda and they're shady as hell, so there's some shady ass motherfuckers. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised because Bethesda is just, they're hacks. They're hacks. Like, basically, Bethesda is the equivalent of you paying for an outdoor excursion, like those camping trips you can pay for, where you go out and you have an outdoor excursion, and everything's provided. Pay your $60 for like 2 days in the woods. But when they hand you the tent, it's like an old busted tent with holes in it. They give you a sleeping bag, but it's a sleeping bag for like elementary schoolers. So it's like you're a 6'2" man or a 5'9" woman, and the shit only comes up to your waist. So the sleeping bag is useless. And they're like, well, we got firewood there, but the firewood's not the right type of wood. It's been treated with pesticides and chemicals, so it burns badly. It's like basically, but that's Bethesda. And then you have a friendly group of campers who are fans of the area that Bethesda's using, who for free were like, well, that wood sucks, but we can show you where there's some good wood, or that tent sucks. Well, here's some other tents. That's the modding community who for free make your experience better. But Bethesda gets a pass, the modding community, which sucks because, no other business could get away with that. Like,
Could you imagine if Nintendo came out with Breath of the Wild and it fell through the world and the physics were really off?
That would be terrible.
Oh, they would be crucified.
Yeah,
they would never show their face again.
People would be like, "You pieces of shit." There would be murdered. People would be killed. AG Anuma would have to commit Harry Carey on national TV.
No, more like seppuku.
That's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't seppuku would be more honorable? So.
Well, the thing is, the entire thing is called Harry Carey, but seppuku is the very last part where the Harry Carey where you're supposed to do the cross in your stomach while disemboweling yourself. The seppuku is where they cut off your head.
That is amazing.
Which is how people say seppuku in English.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that, like, that's the type of shit we're talking about. But anyway, as I was saying, personally, I mean, like, that's what, and here's the thing, look, anyone who knows my channel knows I don't like, I'm not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild, but on a technical level, you can't say, like, 9 elements of the game that I think are garbage, but on a technical level, like the technical aspects of it, like the game is playable. You're not falling through the floor unless you play that shitty emulated version on the Wii U emulator, and then you deserve whatever happens to you. But but generally speaking, you're not falling through the floor. You're not dying. You're not exploding.
You're not having glitches left and right every 3 seconds.
Yeah, and the glitches that happen in that game are minor. It's kind of like people are always saying, well, it's a huge gaming world, and that's why it's broken. Here's the problem with that statement, is that one of the biggest open world games that came out in the 6th gen was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That game was huge. Okay. And yeah, that game had glitches, but most of them weren't game breaking.
Yeah.
Like why do we keep on making excuses for, like, this shitty company that just makes games that are just broken as shit? Why? Why do we do that?
Probably to save grace, and they don't want to blame themselves, then just blame others outside of their group.
I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get why people keep on just giving Bethesda the benefit of the doubt for bullshit. Like, I don't, because they're
probably for brand loyalty.
Like Bethesda hasn't fixed a single game they've made in years.
Well, they are now in the next couple of years with with Stardust and the upcoming Elder Scrolls game.
Man, I don't trust that shit at all. I don't trust it.
You can only trust it as far as you could throw it. And something tells me that's gonna be very short.
I don't trust Bethesda. Like basically how they've been
Effing up.
effing up, yeah, for years now. I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. No, sir. Not at all. I don't trust it at all. Nope.
What games have you guys been playing?
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
I have
Keep
not been
teasing.
playing.
I only got 2 days until I get to play it. So
I have not been playing Smash Brothers Ultimate. I've been my motherboard died, so I've been trying to think about.
Repair it.
No. I'm just gonna get a new. I'm just gonna get a new PC.
Okay. For me, I'm actually getting set to play Bravely Second.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
be difficult to replace your motherboard. You just gotta
What?
unscrew it. It wouldn't be difficult.
Well-
what kind of CPU do you have?
Look, it doesn't really matter because the PC, aside from my graphics cards and the modifications I've made, the PC itself, the motherboard is like 4 or 5 years old. So at this point, it's just easier just for me to just get a new PC, and I'm not gonna get like a top of the line PC. I'm just gonna get something that's maybe 2 or 3 years old and put my newer shit in it and just do that.
Do you have a what kind of PC do you have? A Dell?
No, I have an Asus, AMD Asus thing.
So it's one of those proprietary PCs that you can customize, but removing everything would kind of be a pain.
I mean, because everything is pretty much, unless you're talking Mac versus PC, but it's a PC, so like everything is pretty much usable.
There's just some companies.
That reminds me.
Yeah.
If you guys ever do you remember those "Hi, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC" commercials from back in the late 2000s?
You mean where they had Ashton Kutcher? He's like, yeah. No, that Ashton Kutcher was the Dell guy. Yeah, that's like, I'm PC, I'm Mac. And Mac was like, yeah, we're so cool. Yeah, we're totally, yeah, we can do. I'm like, that was such bullshit marketing. It looked cool, but it was like, for anyone who actually knows anything about PCs versus Macs, like, Mac is not that good.
There's more options.
For specialized tasks, Mac is good. Like if you're into like audio shit, like you're a musician and you want to like cut music together digitally, and you don't want to spend, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 making your own in-house studio. Yeah, Mac is great for shit like that. Or you're a film student and you want to do programs in order to just do movies and shit and graphical editing and shit like that. Mac is great. But when it comes to like general purpose, kind of well balanced, you can do a little bit of everything across the board. Mac sucks, especially for what you're paying for. So I would say is on, it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're a professional, like you want to get into, music or graphical design or movie shit, Mac is your friend. If you want to do something else, then you want what's it called? Shit.
Yeah, a lot of their high-end professional computers don't even come with a GPU. Which is kind of some BS right there.
Not really. It makes sense because a lot of the high-end computers aren't doing graphical shit. Like if a computer is like a bank computer that has to deal with hundreds of calculations in order to let investment bank know when to buy or when to sell, need a GPU. It really doesn't.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but Macs are usually multi-purpose devices, so you figure you're paying $2,500 for a computer. Well, they market them as multi-purpose devices.
Yeah, they market them that way, but that's not really the case now. I mean, hell, you can market shit a lot of different ways. Hell, Johnson & Johnson used to market, not Johnson & Johnson, the company that makes Windex. Windex used to be marketed, believe it or not, Windex used to be marketed as a douche chemical. Now that we know better, you should never use 70% ammonia solution as a douche chemical. But it was marketed that way. Hell, cigarettes used to be marketed as something helpful for people with asthma. So, I mean, you can market shit any way you want to, but what something actually is and what you market it as are two completely different things. So, no, I don't, I mean, here's the thing. Back in the day, originally PCs were really expensive, and Apple had their own ate the PC market because the only PCs you had way back in the day were they were really expensive. Like you had either IBM, which is really fucking expensive, and then you had IBM competitors like the Amiga, the Commodore, the VIC-20, stuff like that. And then you had Apple stuff, which was initially you could play games on Apple just like anything else. But over time, Apple went more into schools and like that. And so the gaming community and software people, they started going more towards PC because the home market by and large was PC. So, and even now, the vast majority of computer users have a PC. They don't have Mac. So, I mean, and that's basically kind of it's kind of like the market forced the market forced the situation, not the situation forced the market. Because basically that old adage from the 90s where if a game came out and you had a Mac, you had to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years before that game came to your system. Came to your console. I mean, came to your PC if you had a Mac.
I mean, Apple has tried their hand with gaming, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, the Pippin, the Bandai Namco Pippin. Even just gaming console. It's
even though the name Pippin, it sounds like an off-brand generic soda that you buy as a college student because you don't have any money. It tastes terrible, but it's
it's sweet, but it goes flat way faster than the name brand.
Yeah.
It's are you gonna get Coke? Nope. Pepsi? Nope. Sam's Club? Nope. I'm getting the Pippin.
Yeah.
It's you gotta drink this shit in 5 minutes or it's gonna go flat.
It's off-brand to the off-brand.
It's the off-brand to the off-brand. It's I've never heard of this brand of soda. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is I am a fanboy for he is great for general usage, whereas console is Mac is good for more specialized tasks. But I mean, don't believe the bullshit marketing where they're Mac is better than PC. for certain things. But the thing is like if you have a PC, if you want to build a PC yourself or have it built for you, if you have a PC built for you for a specific task, it will do it better than a Mac will. Because just Macs, I mean, like the brilliance of the Macintosh is that their OS is low impact for the architecture of what a Mac is. 'Cause the architecture of a Mac is different than what's on a PC. That's the only real edge that I give Mac on that, which is kind of like why Linux, like if Google really wanted to kick everyone's ass, what they should do is not Google, Android. If Android wants to kick everyone, what they should do is just make an OS that works on PC too, that has the functionality of like Windows, but the low system resources of Android's Linux-based kernel, and marry those two together. They would kick everything's ass. They kick Windows ass. They kick Mac's ass.
They kind of, sort of, are doing that with the Chromebooks, but it's not exactly.
Yeah, but Chrome is
not
Google,
exactly that.
and Chrome is a resource hog. It's not as bad as Windows, as Microsoft's shit, but Chrome is a resource hog. It's not the worst, but
yeah, it would be nice to see a nice light operating system that didn't, you know.
Yeah.
I guess we're always gonna have drivers; those aren't gonna go away. But
we keep on saying, look, we just want XP 2.0. That's all we want. We want something that uses at the most 1 gig, of RAM. Sorry, 1 gig of system memory. Doesn't go beyond that. Okay, at the least like 400 megabytes. Okay, we just want a small OS that does what it needs to do, and that's it. But we have some comments in the from just one guy, but it's cool. This is from Jorge Zaldivar, a fan. Hey guys, Merry Christmas. Any idea what games you have on your wish list?
Nothing really. I got all the games I want this year.
See, the only game I have on my wish list right now is Super Mario Party that's equipped with the extra Joy-Cons.
All right,
those are sold out right now.
You can have it because I played that game at a gamer event and I was like not impressed. But you know, to each his own. If it makes you happy, who am I to get angry? Jorge Zaldivar has another comment. I expect the next year Nintendo brings back Miiverse from the Wii U and introduces it to the Switch.
Not gonna happen. End of story.
Well,
this guy's been demanding Nintendo to bring back Miiverse since it's shut down.
I'm gonna keep it real. I think Miiverse was a better social media thing than what they have now.
No, it's not, because it's full of cringy comments that you usually see online.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, that's your opinion.
No, it's actually the general consensus from the internet community.
Well, that's the opinion of the people who were vocal enough to announce that. My opinion's a little bit different. I liked Miiverse despite its weird memes. I liked the artwork. I liked the fact that it was curated. So if people got too out of control, they got fucking banned. The Wild Wild West that they have now on whatever Nintendo's calling their social thing is kind of shitty to me. But if they brought it back, they're probably not going to call it Miiverse, but I would like a more curated online for Nintendo's online right now. But that's just me. I'm not, because I'm like, here's the thing. I don't really care because $1 a year for their online anyway, so it's a moot point for me. it's a non-issue. It doesn't affect me. Kenoshi?
I don't really have any games on my wish list. I guess a lot of the stuff I'm one's coming out next year. I got all the games I want this year. I got Octopath Traveler. I got Super Smash Brothers. Sunset Overdrive came out for PC, so I picked that up.
Yeah,
It's pretty much good this year.
yeah. A lot of the shit that I really want is coming to PC, and I already pre-ordered it or already got it. So, I mean, yeah, not really. Like Sony has failed to make me want a PS4 yet again through another year of the life cycle of that console. Jorge Zaldivar says, since I'm thinking new amiibo for Christmas, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a Namco museum title where certain amiibo unlock select games? Yeah, but the thing is that there's only like one Namco Bandai character amiibo, and that's Pac-Man. Now, if Namco Bandai were smart, they would release a new Klonoa game and get a Klonoa amiibo, but Namco Bandai is not smart. Personally, I think Klonoa was a better mascot for Namco Bandai than Pac-Man because, I mean, Pac-Man has no fucking character. I mean, you could technically say somehow he kidnapped a baby and he's a cross-dresser. There's no Miss Pac-Man. That's Pac-Man wearing a bow because he's a cross-dresser. He's a transvestite. But that's there. We have another question from Jorge. We can all answer this, and Joel can answer it when she gets back. What is your favorite gaming company of all time, and why? I'm adding the and why because he didn't add it. Who wants to go first?
Obviously, Nintendo, because of its numerous IPs that appeal to all ages.
Okay.
Mario, Zelda, the Pokemon, Kirby, Donkey Kong, Splatoon, Star Fox, Fire Emblem, Metroid, Pikmin, Animal Crossing.
You can go on and on, can't you?
Okay. I'm gonna add a caveat. For people who would normally say Nintendo, you have to pick someone else aside from fucking Nintendo because it's too easy to go with Nintendo. Go with somebody else.
Sorry, you're not gonna get that with me.
Well, I can go with someone that's not Nintendo. Kanoshi.
What was the question?
Your favorite company of all time.
The question is, what is your favorite video game company? And why? And I added the caveat: if you're gonna say Nintendo, go with someone else aside from Nintendo because it's too easy to go with Nintendo.
Let's see. Supergiant Games. I would say Insomniac. Naughty Dog during the Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Daxter days.
So like the 5th and 6th gen.
Yeah.
Not now. Yeah.
Not now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And why?
Well, Supergiant Games. I remember when I think Bastion was the first game I got on Steam, and it was a good little. It was a rather simple game, but the world and the atmosphere that they created was pretty good.
Yeah, that twist at the end really gets you. It's like, yeah, damn, hear that coming.
Yeah.
Then I'll go with Capcom for their fighting games and beat 'em up games.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Capcom as well, as it pertains to like their older fighting games.
Yeah, before they fucked up.
Before they came out that bomb.
Before you fucked up, Capcom. Yes, I'm drinking, but damn it, it's the holiday and I'm not driving, so fuck it. Jewel?
I said you're not going to get me to agree to that because me and Pinky are in the same boat.
So you won't even say like intelligent systems for not intelligent systems, the Pokemon company for Pokemon, HAL.
This is where I'm gonna I would agree. I mean, I agree with Pinky, but since you put a caveat on it, I'm gonna have to pick carefully here. And sadly, you got me on Pokemon Company and between Pokemon Company and HAL Laboratories because they two of my favorite games that I usually like to go around with on the off chance, which would be Kirby and Pokemon, of course.
All right. Okay, there you go. See, everyone's always like, it's always Nintendo. There's good companies out there that aren't Nintendo. So
yeah,
I guess
good luck finding that.
okay, so I guess I'll go with mine. The company that I'm going to say, it's two companies from back in the day that basically made gaming so much fun.
Question is, are they still alive?
Well, they got brundle-flied together into a hideous abomination that shouldn't. But this was back in the day before that happened. Squaresoft and Enix.
Yeah, this is the reason why I was careful about my choices, because they have to be still alive and in good condition.
Well, that was not a caveat. I only said it didn't have to be Nintendo, and why.
That was my personal one. So you got yourself shot there.
So you added the gravity boots onto yourself and weights to yourself. But I'm not going to do that. The reason I loved Squaresoft back in the day is that they made some of my favorite like general purpose RPGs back in the day. Final Fantasies 1, 2, 3, Live Alive, Bahamut Lagoon, Romancing Saga, Final Fantasy Legend, aka Romancing Saga, and of course Chrono Trigger 2 and 3. Just like they were just an insanely talented company back in the day. Not so much now, but back in the day they were the shit. And then you had their polar opposites, their enemies. If Squaresoft was basically the kings of outside of Japan, the people who ruled Japan was Enix, because Enix released Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is like, if Enix is the cool new restaurant that changes their menu every 2 or 3 years around a general theme. But it's always a different type of meat dishes and seasonings and shit. Enix is that down-home place that you expect to come there, and they serve the same type of food, but the quality has not changed. It's still really good every time you go there.
It's like seeing family all over again each time you go there, right?
Basically, it's down-home food, but every time you go there, it's filling, it's good, it's delicious, makes you feel good. That's the Dragon Quest franchise. It's just down-home. You expect it to be a certain quality. But Enix also released a lot of other really cool games, like the Quintet trilogy that they published, which started with Soul Blazer, then went to Illusion of Gaia, and then Terranigma. So, I mean, you know, they were awesome. With an honorable mention for Atlas, because Atlas
has been starting to go downhill some.
Not really. Not really. I mean, I don't like.
Games, I was going to say one of their latest games has been found to be copy pasted from something else, and that would be Ark.
I would say the only thing that kind of sucks for them is just the only thing that kind of sucks for Atlas is that since Sega bought them, they keep on pumping out these shitty dancing games with Persona skins, which I'm like, why? Like when someone, I mean, I understand that the guy who was running their Persona RPG division like left and he's doing something else now or something. I don't know, but like seriously, there has to be someone in that studio who knows how to make RPGs and who can make that shit happen, because I don't want to see any more Persona dancing all night shit, because I just don't give a shit. But aside from that, if they could fix that, that'd be cool. But either way, yeah, those 3 studios. Another honorable mention, I'm gonna say the Pokemon Company, but not for Pokemon, because Pokemon has gotten kind of it's gotten kind of safe. They know what they kind of a little bit formulaic. I'm gonna give them credit for the games that they made.
Well, they've been innovating through Sun and Moon and Let's Go. They've been slowly.
I'm gonna give them credit for when they made games that had fuck all to do with Pokemon. So I'm gonna give them credit for Drill Dozer and Shockman back in the day, and Jerry Boy 1 and 2.
What about Harmonite? You forgot about that.
Yeah, Harmonite. But Harmonite's not as good as Drill Dozer. Drill Dozer's like a puzzle platformer where you go and do cool shit in a mech that can drill through enemies. And another studio that I'm gonna say that I fucking love, Monolith Soft, because they've made like one of my favorite RPGs of the 6th gen, which was Baten Kaitos. It was not Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenosaga. Hey, Jewel Ryder, have you seen my idea thread for a Bleach Musou game? Yes, dude. We've heard about your Bleach Musou game.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not bothering it because this guy tends to spam on his idea threads at Discus.
Well, dude.
To get attention.
Dude, I understand your need for an ideal for a Bleach Musou game. I think that the problem with Musou games is that they only for me is that Musou games. I don't really care about Musou games that. How can I put this nicely?
Aren't as entertaining.
Like, I don't like the Samurai Warriors games, and I don't give a shit about the Dynasty Warriors games. The ones that I like are the ones that are like spin-offs about properties I like. But the problem is that you got to find ones that are good.
Did you count the Hyrule Warriors one?
That's the thing. That one really didn't capture my interest because I was like, I'd rather have them trying to. What kind of made that game weak was that it basically tried to add, to me, Legend of Zelda aspects to
the Dynasty Warriors
formula. You know what I mean? And they didn't really mix together, you know? To me, that's my own personal opinion. Kenoshi. Are you there, Kenoshi?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you ever played any Musou games? This is a question for Jorge Zaldivar.
No, I hate those freaking games. It looks so boring.
Yeah. I tried. I played Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, and they both were just too much. And I'm a Dragon Quest fanboy, but those games suck. Oh god, they're bad, especially the first one. The second one's a little bit is better, but it's still not that good. He says, lucky for me, Fallout never caught his attention. He's still hesitant to even get a Switch. Well, dude, don't talk about how and you don't even have a Switch. That's kind of, a little weird.
Contradictory.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like when people say, well, it's kind of like I've had arguments with people in my podcast where they're like, yeah, you're saying the game, it's like, well, have you played the game? No. Then shut the fuck up if you haven't played it. Just saying. I mean, I don't want to put it like that, but if there was any game company you would put on the naughty list, which company would it be? I'd put Konami there for killing Hudson Soft. Okay, this is a good question. Who wants to put some some companies on the naughty list?
Obviously Bethesda, as well as possibly Blizzard.
I thought you go with the simple one with EA.
Well, I mean, they are on the naughty list, but they got their coal early because they lost $21 billion in value. Shit. Of their stock value. So Andrew Wilson is not having a Merry Christmas this year.
Neither does Todd Howard.
No, Todd Howard will be fine. Because Bethesda's not a publicly traded company, so he's probably getting reamed out. There's probably some reaming out going on behind the scenes, but I think Todd Howard will be fine. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying I think he'll be fine. But there's definitely some shit going on behind the scenes. So so we're making a naughty list. So we have EA. Who else should go on that list, folks?
Ubisoft's been kind of good this year. They haven't been screwing up too much.
Oh, we could
More like they've been keeping quiet.
we could put in Activision as well because of Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
And Destiny 2. Which is just kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Who else can go on that list? Sony for having the balls to put out the PS Mini.
And having their player count leaked by accident.
And having the nerve to put that shit, those shitty, like they put no fucking effort into putting good games on the PS1 Mini.
Yeah.
Like it was, the PS1 Mini is just some shit that was thrown together, and they were like, "We're gonna make so much money with this shit," and I'm glad it failed. I went to Best Buy to get some stuff for a friend of mine, and I was walking through the store, and like I saw a stack, like a pallet of PS1 Minis just lying there. No one bought shit off of it. It was just lying there. I went up to the guy and I was like, "Hey man, have you been selling a lot?" "Oh man, we might have to ship them back to the distribution warehouse." I was like, "Damn." Yeah, but
I'll probably get one to like hack it, to put more PlayStation games on.
Well, if you wait, the price will go down because they'll be trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, hopefully I can get one for like $10 in the next 3 months.
No, that's Vita. That's Vita levels. That's Vita TV levels of low prices. It's not going to get that low. Maybe like 50. Which, considering that Sony priced it at $100, I'm like, for this shit, really? I mean, y'all could have gotten away with like $69.99 or $79.99, but
At least make it as cheap as when it could as a games.
$100, shit.
That's a game system that you're going for.
I'm gonna keep it real. The PS1 Mini only shows just how fucking mediocre the PlayStation was, and the only reason it sold was because Sony did all that shady backroom deals with Japanese companies in order to fuck over Nintendo and Sega.
You're telling me with all those PlayStation games on the PlayStation Store, they couldn't get a hold of those licenses?
Yeah, but those are two completely different licenses.
That's the point.
Like it's not the same license. It's not one catch-all license. It's like we're licensing this to put on our digital store. Now, if Sony were smart, but like I said, the PS1 Mini is some shit that they threw together. If they were smart, because here's the thing. Here's what people need to understand about the 5th gen, okay? The N64 was outsold almost 5-1 by the PlayStation. But the N64 has a more iconic library because the library is smaller, But there's some really fucking iconic games for the N64. The N64 only has only had 211 games released for it. But of that 211, a good quarter of them are iconic. If not majorly iconic, people can have fond memories of those games. Like you can go to anyone who owned an N64 and say, "Hey, what were some of your favorite games on the N64?" And people can say, "Oh man, I remember Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Smash Brothers, Mario 64, Diddy Kong Racing, F-Zero X, Gauntlet Legends, StarCraft, any of the numerous NFL games, all those games. I never really gave a shit about them, but I know some people liked them. Gauntlet Legends, Extreme G2. There's tons of Hydro Thunder. There's tons of games on the system that people have fond memories of that are kind of like, wow, that's a big deal. The PlayStation had a much larger library, but a lot of those games were shit. Okay, do you understand? If you have 2,500 games released on the console, not all of them are going to be dynamite.
Yeah.
Some of that shit's going to be garbage. But who else needs to be on the naughty list?
Nintendo almost gets on the naughty list for their online online service.
I'm not going to say Nintendo. I'm not going to say Nintendo themselves have to be there, but the Nintendo's online service needs to be on the naughty list. That shit gets a lump of coal.
I don't believe it.
You get a well. I mean, because here's the thing. Okay, here's the reason why I think it needs to be on the naughty list, because basically, what you're paying for is not commensurate to what you're getting. Especially if you are a more of a core Nintendo person. You've been buying Nintendo products for years.
I have.
I'll give you an example of what I mean. For example, the online, the pricing for the online isn't really commensurate because it's using the online connection that the Switch uses is peer-to-peer, which means Nintendo's not paying shit for it. What's going on is that your internet service provider is carrying the load for that. So really, it's you paying for it any damn way. You're just giving them money for so that's not, the money's not going for that because you're already paying for that by virtue of you having online in your house. So then you could say, so you scratch that, you throw that out the window. So it's not online services. So then you say, well, I mean, is it to moderate a Miiverse type Miiverse anymore? So it's not, they're not paying someone to moderate that shit. Well, maybe they're curating their online store. Not really. It's a wild, wild west over there.
With me here.
Well, you could say, well, okay, well, maybe it's their online library of NES games. Okay, all right, that's a fair assumption. Here's the problem with that assumption. If you are a hardcore Nintendo fan, most of those games that are on there you already have, either physically, digitally, or both in other forms. So, that's not really a, well, you can play with your friends. I don't give a fuck. that's not really a, I mean, some people, that's going to be a big thing. I can play Donkey Kong or the original Mario Brothers with my friends. That's cool. For a lot of people, that's not really you can say, well, they have these special versions of the games, like you play Legend of Zelda with 999 rupees from the start, and that's cool. Except that's just a fucking hack. And if you have these games anyway for the NES with a Game Genie, or you emulate it or whatever, you can do that anyway. So that's not really a selling point. So basically, you're paying $20 for cloud servers, which I will say cloud servers are nice. But here's the problem. That's a manufactured problem, because if you could just like save your shit to your micro SD card, it wouldn't be a problem anyway. Like it's a manufactured it's a manufactured problem. So I
consider it manufactured because of the fact that people keep on crying for more storage space.
Well, no, it's not. It's people aren't crying for storage space. I don't think they're crying that it's a manufactured problem. Like okay, the Switch is like, because Nintendo went for the small form factor, there was certain stuff they couldn't have. But what's preventing them from say, hey, you can use your portable hard drive with your USB thing? Because we already know there are USB peripherals for the Switch that you can put in via your dock. Hell, you can connect your Pro controller with the USB thing via the dock. So, I mean, you know, I just kind of think that this was just a money grab on their part, that they kind of tried to dress up as not being a money grab. And I know, look, listen, their company, they're a publicly traded company in Japan, and you can also buy stocks in America through an intermediary. I mean, look, a company exists to make money. I understand that. But, you know, if you're going to listen, I don't want someone to try and fuck me over and then like act like they're not trying to fuck me over. Like, I don't like that. So I said, yeah, I took a look. I was like, oh, you're trying to fuck me over. I'm not going to participate. And so that's what I took a step back from the table. I know there are people who are really into it. God bless you. Enjoy your remake. Me, only person allowed to fuck me over is my girlfriend. And since my girlfriend doesn't look like Nintendo, then I'm not going to let them fuck me over. So, no. But hey, you know, that's, you know, if they like it, good for them. We have some more comments from Jorge Zaldivar. Bandai has been more generic. That is why I want Namco to break up with Bandai.
What exactly is he talking about? I mean,
because Namco and Bandai merged.
Yeah, I know they merged, but what exactly does he mean by being generic? Because they seem pretty much the same to me.
I think Namco back in the day took a few more chances before Bandai started to get more control over shit. We didn't see nearly the same glut of like genre games that we do now with Bamco or Namdai, whatever the fuck they want to call it.
Bandai Namco.
Switched it. They switched Namco Bandai, then Bandai Namco. I can't keep up with all these changes. Basically, personally speaking, I'm just tired of all these damn Naruto games.
Yeah, they come out with a new freaking Naruto game every year.
Here's another Naruto game. God damn it! Stop it! Just fucking look. Okay, you people are just as bad as fucking the Call of Duty people. Look, come out with a Naruto game one year, then do a One Piece game, then do a Dragon Ball Z game. So every year you got something different. But I'm tired of fucking Naruto. And here's the thing. They won't make the type of Naruto game that people want. Like, make an open world game set like 50 years after the events of Naruto and Boruto, so that those people are like either really old or dead, so that like
that'd be good.
New characters can do shit. Like, you hear about other people's shit, but new characters can do shit. like, fuck.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea.
Like that'd be cool. But that's just me. Also, like, or do a Dragon Ball Z game. Like, do a Dragon Ball Z MMORPG. That'd be cool. Like, I know they did that on PC, but like, bring it to consoles. Except like, make it into like an action MMORPG where maybe you start out as like a normal person, and then by the end of the game, once you're at like level 100, you're like doing like Super Saiyan, super Namek shit, like destroying planets and having power fights and shit, stuff like that. Jorge Zaldivar, for starters, Nintendo should make the membership optional when playing the Switch Online. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't played Splatoon in a long time though. Splatoon 2 in a long time.
Oh, that reminds me. They're gonna have a New Year's themed Splatfest next month.
Right.
It's between friends versus families.
Oh man, that's gonna be rough. Yeah, but I mean, I personally think they should have tiers for Nintendo's online. Like, like if you just want the online, maybe $10. If you want the library with the online, then it's $20. Because I mean, personally speaking, I don't. That library does not look appealing to me. Like if the Nintendo's online library is supposed to take the place of the Virtual Console, it's a shitty supplement for the Virtual Console.
There's probably some weird licensing stuff they have to get to.
It probably is a licensing thing. The license probably ran out, or they didn't want to keep on paying money for it, and that's cool. But I mean, to say, well, this is taking the place of our Virtual Console. If this is supposed to replace your Virtual Console, it fucking sucks.
I'm not defending it. I think it's nonsense. But
I mean, personally, I liked being able to play games whenever the fuck I wanted and not have to pay a fee for it, which is why one of the reasons I keep my Wii U hooked up so I can play those games anytime I fucking want to. Let's see. My faves. Here's Jorge Zaldivar, his favorite gaming companies. My faves are Nintendo, Hudson, Namco, and even Rare. See, I can get down with that, but here's the thing. Which Rare? Are we talking Nintendo, pre-Nintendo Rare? Or are we talking about Microsoft Rare that's just been shit ever since?
Good question there.
I mean, because it's a different, it's kind of like this, right? I like Squaresoft and Enix, but Square Enix sucks. If someone says I like Sega, which era of Sega? Because like Sega during the 4th gen was awesome. Sega during the 5th gen was okay. Sega during the 6th gen was okay. Sega during the 7th gen sucked.
And you wonder why I limited myself to the gaming companies that are doing well and still living.
I mean, there was a time when EA was good, like during the 6th, 5th, and 4th gens. EA was actually a pretty good company. After basically when Trip Hawkins left and his own company fucked him over because they wouldn't support the 3DO. That was basically when EA became kind of shitty. So Jorge Zaldivar says, I scrolled too far. Oh, here we go. I also love Tecmo for the Monster Rancher titles. Yeah, I like Monster Rancher. It's the problem with the Monster Rancher is that it took too long for you to be able to open up everything in the games. Like, it took too long for you to finally get your ranch to the point where you could raise your monsters so that
they could be battle competitive, right?
They could be battle competitive in the first few games, and then the later games where they could actually go and do the dungeon hunting and the outside hunting and the special stuff. Like, it took too damn long for it to get to that point, and most people didn't want to spend that time grinding to get it. I like Tecmo because they made my favorite football games. Tecmo Bowl, bitches. Man, fuck Madden. Tecmo Bowl.
If only that could come back.
Yeah, I would love another Tecmo Bowl. That's what Tecmo needs to do. Just fucking make another Tecmo Bowl. Except, since you can't get the real license to football, just make up teams. No one cares. Shit. Just keep the game fun and accessible, and I'm down with it. Taito for all their arcade title beat 'em ups and platformers, and even Takara, way better than Bandai. Yeah, I do like Takara. They're the ones who gave us
the Transformers.
Well, the original Transformers. It was called Convoy in Japan. They also gave us. No, that was Tatsunoko. Sorry. Can't Arc collaborate with Nintendo, create a new Donkey Kong platformer? I don't know who Arc is. Arc System Works?
Treyarch?
No, he just says Arc. I don't know who Arc is. Mario Poker Nerd, hi. There should be a Super Mario and Donkey Kong Country crossover. That would be friggin' awesome. That would be awesome. Could you imagine a Super Mario and Donkey Kong Country crossover?
That would be interesting.
Well, I was actually thinking about a Mario Luigi RPG game taking place in Donkey Kong Island.
That would be the most awesome platformer ever. Could you imagine a Donkey Kong Country and Mario, a 2D Donkey Kong Country Mario game that had a level of platforming that was that? Oh my God, that'd be insane.
I think you have a boner for that game.
Well, you guys know I love 2D platformers, and I think that like the best 2D platformers on the SNES were Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, and Donkey Kong Country 2. Like those were like the best 2D platformers on that system, in my opinion. And if you combined that level design together into one, it would be like one of those kung fu movies where the guy's like, if you combine your Southern style tiger fist with my Northern style dragon fist, our schools can become stronger. And then they go on to kick everybody's ass. Like that's basically the level of badassness that would come about.
I was going to make the joke about the Crane and the Turtle schools combining into one to be something pretty fierce if they could be done right. And
yeah, Master Roshi and Master Crane both completely. But yeah, that'd be awesome. A Mario and Luigi RPG. Like, here's the thing. Like, if they do another Mario and Luigi RPG, they need to add more complexity and not dumb it down as much as Paper Jam was. Because Paper Jam was kind of a little too easy and
a bit, but it was still fun for me.
It was fun.
To be fair, JRPGs aren't for everyone, which is why the Mario and Luigi RPGs are a lot more dumbed down compared to other JRPGs.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
They tend to be very samey.
I'm not discounting that. I'm saying that Paper Jam was dumbed down even for a Mario and Luigi RPG. You know what I'm saying? Like once you if you basically in that game, Paper Mario was broken because up and you powered him up and you equipped him with the right shit, he would basically just steamroll everything. Like just kick everything's ass. It was ridiculous because he could hit multiple times. And if you gave him the crit badge, he just critical hit too. I mean, it was ridiculous. So, I mean, I like the game. I'm just saying that, I think the perfect level of complexity in a Mario Luigi game was what they had in maybe
the third story.
Yeah, Dream Team. That was just.
I thought it was Bowser's Inside Story for that one.
No, I would say Dream Team was just right enough because you could do attacks and you didn't have to get the time to attacks just perfectly, but it would still count as being excellent. And yet you could do the specials and it worked. Because I went back from Dream Team to Bowser's Inside Story, and it's Bowser's Inside less forgiving. But I think Dream Team hit the balance just right, and then they made it too easy with Paper Jam. As long as they don't try and be like Partners in Time, oh, that's bad. It'll be fine.
You're making me worry a little, buddy.
Partners in Time was not good. I'm sorry, it was not. Oh god, that was not fun.
It was a lot more sluggish for me, so I can understand where you're coming from.
I just didn't like playing as Baby Mario or Baby Luigi. I was like, I don't want to play as these characters. Mario Poker Nerd says Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda is kind of a bad video game company. And they've gotten a pass for years and years and years. What did Activision do? They brought us Spyro Reignited Trilogy. They're also remastering Crash Team Racing. And as Nintendo's not going to make a Diddy Kong Racing 2 anytime soon, so I'll get that, and that'll scratch that itch for me a little bit. Just like Sonic Racing Transformed kind of scratched that itch for me for a little bit. Activision needs to make new games from those franchises. Yeah, they do. We need a entirely new Crash Bandicoot game. I forgot Bomberman 64. Yes, I did. Bomberman 64 was really good. I also like Bomberman Hero. It was like an RPG. Actually, no. It was more like an adventure game. Actually, I would like a Bomberman game that was like The Legend of Zelda. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
where you like have an overworld and you get
Isn't that what Bomberman Jitters was?
No, it wasn't. Okay, Mario Poker Nerd says Smash Brothers, Paper Mario, Pokemon Stadium, F-Zero X, Kirby 64, and Legend of Zelda 64. I'm down with that list except for Pokemon Stadium. I hate that game.
What?
I hate Pokemon Stadium. I'm sorry. I can't. I like, and that was during the time when I really liked Pokemon too. Like I was like insanely, like I was so into Pokemon that I bought the trading card game for my Game Boy Color. Like, and I was playing with the trading cards too. Like I really liked Pokemon at the time, but Pokemon Stadium.
I remember in the cafeteria talking to somebody about Pokemon Stadium. I was like, this is okay and all, but I wish you can control the Pokemon like in the TV show, like if it was a fighting game. We ended up getting that just game really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it still wasn't as good. Jorge Zaldivar says, I know how you feel. I am sick of Dragon Ball. Like, here's the thing. It's not that Dragon Ball is bad. It's the fact that they don't mix it up. Like I remember when Monolith Soft made Dragon Ball Legacy of Goku 1 and 2 that were basically like RPGs, like action RPGs. And then they did like a Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyans, Legend of the Saiyans, which is like a model. It's like a action RPG where like you can do combos and shit on your enemies and stuff. Like if they spread out the Dragon Ball games and the Naruto games and the One Piece games so that it wasn't just the same shit over and over again, I'd be cool. But it's all fighting games and like not even good.
Well, except for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, but that's Arc System Works, and that's more like core, like 2D. But that's the anomaly. Like most of the Dragon Ball games have been Tenkaichi style games where you're flying around shooting energy balls at people, just spamming special attacks until your
key is out.
Your key is out, and then you get in close and boost it up, or you run away and then charge up for a little bit, and then just start spamming it. It gets boring. It gets boring very quickly. Why not make online free again for the online gaming for Nintendo? Because Nintendo has people who will pay for it because they want to play Smash Brothers online with their friends, or Mario Kart online with their friends, or Splatoon 2 online with their friends. Like, I mean, I know what the business. Look, listen, they're going to make money. They're going to get their $20. I'm not angry about that. What bothers me is that what you're getting. dollars is not commensurate for
So what you're getting does justify the price, since it's not as much as what PSN and Xbox Live has to offer.
No, it isn't commensurate, because I mean I just went through the pricing earlier in the podcast. I said, look, you're not getting, like, even if they're shitty online servers, that's better than peer-to-peer, which you're already paying for with your internet service provider. So that's not what you're paying for. Like, that's like, if they're saying, well, we have to charge you for online. No, you don't, because you're not doing shit with the online. You could say, well, it's for the cloud-based saves, but the cloud-based saves are a moot point, because like it's a manufactured problem that didn't need. And then you have the online library of games, which, I mean, like, if you haven't played these games before, I guess $20 is worth it. Because, I mean, if you went to a retro video game store and tried to buy these games, you spend more than $20 to get them. So, I mean, I guess that's worth it. But, I mean, like, I'm a Nintendo video game collector, and I have most of these games, the ones that I really wanted. So it's not worth it to me. So, I mean, whatever works for you. But they're not gonna make it free for gaming. For gamers, because people will pay for it. So, yeah. Horizontal says Square Enix is okay to you. Okay, cool, man. Knock yourself out. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, to like Square Enix as they are now, just because they haven't made. They pretty much run one of the most valuable RPG franchises into the ground. So,
but at least they have Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
For how long?
Yeah. Yeah, she said it. Because the thing is that the first Bravely Default is really good. Bravely Default 2, while technically a better made game, is not quite as good as the first one. The characters aren't as interesting to me. Octopath Traveler is good. It's not great, it's good. I hope the second one has a bigger scope and more characters and more classes and more weapons. I hope that's what goes on. And I hope the characters are just as interesting as they are in the first game.
And I might not get a lot of games next year. I might pick like 2 or 3 games I really want to get. There's a lot of games I need to catch up on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like I don't need to buy any more games. I have enough games to keep me occupied for a long time.
I got too much shit to play, goddammit.
Exactly. It's like, dude.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Okay, then. So what about Super Mario Tecmo Bowl for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One? Add the PC to that, and I'd be down with it. I would just like I would like another Tecmo Bowl, or hell, even better, if EA ever pulled their head out of their ass, another Mutant League football. Except add an RPG mode where you can find out who put the chemical waste under the who approved the contracts and buried the chemical waste under the and built the football stadiums over the chemical waste dump sites. What about Super Mario Cross Adventure Island?
Wait, are we talking about games we wish were made in the future?
Well, yeah, Jorge says he wants Tecmo Super Bowl for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. I would love another Tecmo Super Bowl, because unlike what people may think about me, you're just a nerd. I actually like fucking football. I do. I love football. I'm a football fan.
I like another Godzilla fighting game that's more akin to the Japan-only Super Famicom game, but with better features and content. Make it more fleshed out, since it was originally a Street Fighter clone back in the day, because that franchise was back in that period, everyone was trying to copy Street Fighter. A lot of fighting games. I mean,
I think that's kind of lot of games during that gen is that just a lot of Street Fighter clones. Kind of like when PlayStation, when Final Fantasy VII took off, there was just a lot of fucking Final Fantasy VII clones. You know, it got ridiculous. It got egregiously bad. Kanoshi, are there any games you wish were made that probably will never get made, but you'd be like, if that game was made, it would make my day?
I don't know, Final Fantasy 6 remade in the Octopath Traveler engine.
That'd be cool. Kefka would be just as crazy son of a bitch as he was back then.
Yeah.
Crazy bastard. I hate that guy. That bastard. In my opinion, the best fantasy villain ever. I think Final Fantasy VI just had great villains, not even mainline villains, just a lot of good villains. Like Ultros and even some of the side characters good, like General Leo. I felt bad when he died. I was like, man, General Leo was pretty cool. Even though he was on the side of the villain, he was still a pretty cool dude. But that's just me. Let's see. Joel, you have a game you wish would get made, even though it probably would never get made?
That's a hard call, but if anything, probably a Yu-Gi-Oh game for either the console or the handhelds, or even another card game for the handhelds.
I would be cool with that, but let us
probably
create our own rule set so we can choose what rules we want.
Okay, you got me there. Because some of the rule sets in some games, well, they need some spice.
Exactly. So let's see what else we got over here. Jorge Zaldivar also says, what about a Super Mario Cross Adventure Island collaboration? So the Italian plumber with Master Higgins, that'd be cool. Because both of those games are pretty damn fun. Although it the same level of platforming as it did. Jorge Zaldivar says, I noticed the FPS mechanics in Donkey Kong 64 and realized there should be a Donkey Kong Cross Time Crisis collaboration. Here's something you might not know. The guy who, one of the guys who used to work at Rare went and worked and started helping out with the team that created Time Crisis. So believe it or not, there is a connection there. Yeah, that was just a thing back in the day with like Rare games on the N64, is that most of them had, like, aside from Diddy Kong Racing, had astonishingly good 4-player first-person shooter mechanics in them. Like Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day and Donkey Kong 64 and Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini. Yeah, during that 5th gen, Rare was just on fire. Almost every game that they came out with was really good. If not really good, it was good. I would say the worst game they came out with in the 5th gen. I know some people are going to get mad at me when I say this, but I would say the worst game they came out in the 5th gen. And when I say worst, I don't mean it was terrible. I just mean it wasn't as good as some of the other games they came out with. Is Jet Force Gemini. Just because that platforming sucked. And there were sections in the game where you needed, like, to platform, and it was like, how the fuck am I supposed to platform when this jump is so shitty? 'Cause, 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 'cause So Jorge Zaldivar says, when I said Arc, I meant Arc System Works. Yeah, that's what I thought. And he says, want to know an anime show that would make a good Metroidvania game, Kill la Kill?
How's that even gonna work though?
I don't think that would work. Yeah, I gotta disagree on that one. They already did that Legend of Zelda treatment for Bomberman Tournament and Bomberman Quest. Yeah, I remember Bomberman Quest, but that was for the handheld. When I was saying Bomberman Legend of Zelda treatment, where like you're in an open world and you get new abilities to open up new areas and shit like that, like I'm thinking like on a console, like a big, huge console style game, except you're Bomberman instead of Link or some other character. So yeah. Which anime do you think would spawn a good Legend of Zelda clone? I would Konosuba, Doraemon, even Mahou Sensei Nejima. Okay, One Piece could work. Konosuba could work. Doraemon, no, not a blue cat alien thing. Android doing shit. I don't see that. Working. Mahou Sensei Nejima, maybe if they set it where you're just Nejima doing, cool shit.
If it has to be a Zelda clone, then it has to take place in a medieval period.
No, it doesn't. No. All a Zelda clone needs to do is have dungeons where you get items that you use in order to solve puzzles, in order to fight the boss, so that you can go from point A to point B, and then use those items plus other items to solve other things to open up. Like, really, technically speaking,
the only anime that fits into that category would be Black Clover.
Yeah, Black.
That's iffy.
Yeah, it's kind of iffy.
I mean, Black Clover could do it. Dragon Tail. Let's see what else. Goblin Slayer would be an M-rated Zelda clone.
Oh yes, Goblin Slayer. That would be much better than Black
Let
Clover.
me kill these goblins. Kill these goblins before they rape this woman. And kill them. Kill them, Goblin Slayer. Kill them. Kill the goblin babies. Kill them, Goblin Slayer. Yeah, I'm gonna watch episode 11 in a little bit. That is a hardcore show. It is some fucked up shit.
Dark.
Bastard would be a good Zelda clone, and Guts. No, sorry, Berserk. You could do a sci-fi Legend of Zelda. It's just it would have to be like post-apocalyptic, or you're in some type of situation where your character is forced to like go into areas that are hazardous and find items and use those to solve puzzles. You could do it. It doesn't have to be medieval. It just, it has to be, whatever. If there was an anime you wish would spawn a 3D platform in the style of Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario, even Crash Bandicoot, what would it be?
These guys are really obsessed with turning anime series into clones of other popular video games.
I mean, you could do Crayon Shin-Chan as a 3D platformer. I mean, the kid's weapon attacks would be weird because, I mean, if you watch the anime, he's always whipping his dick out or mooning people. But, I mean, Crayon Shin-Chan is weird.
Some things are not meant to be shown.
I'll tell you a show that had one game that I think needs more games, anime that needs more games about it. Lupin the Third.
Oh, that's a good one.
Could you imagine a Lupin the Third game where you're like Lupin the Third in a city? You gotta like recruit, you gotta get your crew together, and then you gotta do jobs, and the jobs escalate. It would basically be like GTA 5, where you have to get your crew together in order to pull off jobs. Except Lupin doesn't kill people, except like very, very rarely. Like you gotta really piss him off for him to want to kill.
You gotta do some
But have your
for that.
He'll just knock them unconscious rather than instead of killing them.
Well, there have been times where he's killed people, but it's like when Lupin kills someone, they really had that shit coming. Like they did some shit that was unthinkable. But then you could switch between the other characters like Goemon the Third and forgot the name of that guy who's the like ultimate hitman.
Oh, you mean Jigen?
Yeah, Jigen and Fujiko with her Twin Peaks. That's literally her name.
That was
literally Twin Peaks.
that was too easy.
All while trying to avoid Zenigata.
Well, I'm thinking a cool mechanic could be like when Lupin's in disguise, he can actually you can actually play as Zenigata too, and trick Zenigata into helping you out in your to like steal shit or get away or whatever.
He'd probably be chasing you around the second that he figures it out.
Yeah, that's the whole point, you know. And plus, you could have the old like 1970s Monkey Punch theme song, you know. Dun, 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 dun. It's called jazz and shit because jazz is so badass.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think that could be a totally good game. Have you ever heard of the One Piece World Seeker, the open world action adventure game based on the anime that looks promising? That's why I asked. Actually, I saw that. I did see that. I was never that into it, but I mean, you know, whatever. The thing about One Piece is, like, if you're gonna do a One Piece game, like, when are you gonna get into it? Because if you start at the beginning, you're gonna have Luffy when he's not that strong. Now, where he's gotten the gear the third, he's got hockey. He can fucking look at people and make them pass out and shit. Actually, One Piece is one of those few shows that really it doesn't matter when you start. It's pretty badass whenever you get into it. Like the fight scenes are so fucking cool. Is there a chance that Rare would work with Namco and co-develop a Jet Force Gemini remake? Well, considering that I think Rare owns Jet Force Gemini. I mean, I don't know.
There was that when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate got leaked. There was dynamite for spirits regarding Jet Force Gemini as well as Blast Corps, and people assume that hints that Banjo-Kazooie might be DLC.
I want Banjo-Kazooie and Smash Brothers. As far as Blast Corps goes, whatever. Like Blast Corps is one of those games that's really fun, but once you get into it, it really it gets repetitive really quickly. Enough Ninja Storm. There should be a Naruto Ninja Gaiden from Koei Tecmo with the good old hack and slash mechanics.
More Naruto games. We have enough of those.
Like I said, it's not the subject of the game like Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. It's that they keep on. It's like, okay, we're gonna do another One Piece open world game. We're gonna do another Naruto Shippuden game where you're just beating people up in an arena. We're gonna do another Dragon Ball Tenkaichi style game, and then occasionally you'll get one where it's like a proper beat 'em up Dragon Ball Fighters, but. Like it's the mix. Like, okay, why haven't we gotten another Naruto RPG? Why haven't we gotten a One Piece RPG? Yet they could do it.
It's like waiting. Yeah. It's like waiting around for something special to come up.
You know, I mean, I know they have the engine over there at Namco Bandai where they can just keep on pumping out these shitty games. But seriously, man, do something different. Stop doing the same shit over and over again. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop fucking up. Stop fucking up all the time. Damn it.
Oh, while on the subject of anime, there's been recent news that Toei has been has been banning Dragon Ball Fighters tournament, official Dragon Ball Fighters tournaments because of licensing issues.
Who?
Toei, the company that owns the rights to the Dragon Ball Z anime.
You mean that's weird. You mean Bandai Namco lost the rights?
No, it's just that I don't know. Bandai Namco still has the rights to the Dragon Ball Z to making Dragon Ball Z games. Just that they can no longer hold official tournaments for Dragon Ball Fighters because of licensing issues from Toei.
That's weird because typically speaking, never mind.
It's some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is also the same reason why they cannot hold official tournaments for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because of licensing issues.
That's weird. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time like dwelling on shit like that because, like, here's the thing. I really don't want to see people playing video games. Like, I'd rather be actually playing my own. I don't want to, you know, unless someone's doing a let's play of something where there's just weird stuff.
Or unless someone wants to watch a how to play guide on it.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like a let's play, or you're showing people tips and tricks. Okay, cool. But I don't want to see people because here's the thing. Okay, like if you watch someone playing a fighting game, that's a skill that anyone could pick up, reasonably speaking. If I watch someone play football or basketball or soccer, these are people who not anybody could pick it up. Like not anyone could be 7'2". Not anyone could be 6'4" and weigh 300 pounds of just muscle. Do that's a very special skill that takes, you know, special training and shit. Like I don't think I'm playing Street Fighter, I can do 20 Hadoukens in a minute. Man, I can do that shit too, man. Fuck off. Like I don't want to see people get paid to do shit that I could do. You know, that's not impressive to me. But that's just me. Let's wrap things up. It's 9 o'clock, a little bit past 9. Let's give your pimp out what you want to pimp out, and then we'll wrap things up.
I just wanted to talk real quick about like the future of retro gaming and emulation.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
And I was going to mention how I was watching a Spyro video, and one of the things that the reviewer brought up was that, you know, the idea that in the future, when people, you know, come across that game, is they're going to have to, they're going to end up playing a buggy, glitchy mess because they have to have a way to access the updates. And the thing is, a lot of these consoles are probably going to have to get hacked, and they're probably going to have to put some sort of homebrew service so you can connect to, you know, like a peer-to-peer server where there are people who have those data packs. Same thing with emulation as well. You're going to have to create some kind of server or some sort of like peer-to-peer service where people can get the various DLC packs and all that other stuff. So this stuff's about to get really much more complicated than it already is.
And your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm mixed on that because, well, basically, I can understand where it's coming from, and makes me wonder how come people cannot put something on one disk or one load jump drive and be sure it's not buggy.
I mean, the way I feel about it is, like, I mean, once a console has kind of ended its life cycle, I think it's fair game. Like, you know, people who own that console, it can be hacked. People can kind of figure out stuff to do with it. I think that's fair game. I know some people are like, don't hack your console. I'm like, look, listen. You know, if you bought a console, like if you own a PS2 and you want to hack that shit, fine. I mean, you know, Now, if you're hacking something and the content is available, it's still supported, that's a problem.
I would agree if we didn't have any, if these companies didn't allow us to buy these games at cheaper prices from their online services on their current gen consoles.
Yeah, but not everything is offered online. That's my point. Is that there's some stuff where it's like, okay, this isn't offered online. Like, if you want to play this game, it's not going to be online. That's just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
And like,
those are usually licensed games.
Yeah, but not always. Like, let's see. Let me give an example. I like one of my favorite games is let's see. I can't think of. I know there are games that are on the Nintendo the Nintendo Switch that like they're games that I want that could be on the Switch. Like they're games that they're games that aren't offered digitally, right? Like I really want to play in my life on a home console Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the arcade game, right?
Right.
It's no longer offered digitally. Like you used to be able to get it on PC. I mean, on the Xbox One, but it's not available anymore. So, I mean, I would love to play it, but it's not. So, I mean, when you got something like that going on, I mean, you can't be like, okay, well, you know, it becomes an issue of like, you know, do you want to play something emulation versus, you know, legality and stuff like that, and it's a difficult subject to broach because, you know.
Wait, could you imagine like 10, 15, 20 years from now, you know, these consoles don't exist, and maybe some of these consoles are super duper expensive. I kind of doubt that because, you know, there's probably like a million. They'll probably have like a million and some warehouse somewhere rotting. I don't know. But going on the internet, you know, somebody is interested in retro gaming, or at least, you know, playing these older games, and then they have to scour to hack the console to put some sort of homebrew so they can download the data packs because the stores don't exist. They have to download all the DLC. It's gonna be an absolute pain in the ass. You know,
I don't think so.
Games.
I don't think so because people are already doing that with older consoles. People are already doing that with the PS2 and the PS1 and the N64 and stuff like that. Like people are doing that with older PCs. Like people who collect old PCs. People are doing that with old PCs. So I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, it's obviously not going to be as big because the technical know-how involved with that particular you know, thing is not quite as big, but I mean, it'll happen. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's not going to happen overnight, but it'll happen.
I'm sure, you know, I'm sure they'll figure out, have something, you know, where it's easy to just play, to like, you just download, you know, you download this little software, and then you take like an SD card or some sort of memory stick, and you plug it in this console, and then, you know, you do this and do that, and just all the homebrew stuff or whatever, just because it's like that with the Wii now. It's super easy to soft mod a Wii.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, you know, like the way I feel about it is, if something isn't commercially supported anymore, you can mod it, right? Because it's not commercially supported anymore. They don't give a shit, you know. They got their money. They're like, yeah, we got our money. Fuck off, leave us alone. Now, you know, what bothers me is when people are doing shady shit to stuff that did what it was supposed to do. That bothers me. Because I've seen people do that where they're like, you know, something came out and it's still supported. I mean, that's why I was like, I don't like the idea of people modding, modding the Switch or modding the Wii. The Wii is still supported.
Yeah.
Like that's really fucking shady for people to like be doing that. Now, when the Wii's no longer supported, the Wii U is no longer supported. Hell, shit. If people want to, mod their Wii U, knock themselves out. It's their shit. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it. Yep. I know some people are going to get mad when you say that. Oh, how dare you, sir? How dare you?
You got to keep the sanctity of these games and these consoles. And I'm just kind of like, come on, guys. Come on. Let's. No. I mean, I understand you don't want to steal. You don't want to steal or, But at the same time, I mean, it's just, you're not necessarily stealing. Because the thing about like retro gaming, like emulating that stuff, it's like,
if they didn't get their money years ago when that shit came out, it's not going to make any difference now. That's the way I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you buy these games, they're not going to go back to the company. They're just going to go back to the reseller.
Basically. Yeah. But that's just me. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a dude. Just a dude. Just a dude with hopes, dreams, aspirations, things to do.
Wrong.
But your guys' thoughts on that?
At the moment,
I'm mixed with emulation. I mean, for some things, I would actually wouldn't mind emulation. I mean, at least especially if it means that you get some new games coming out. But when it comes to certain things, I'm fearing that it's best to, like the game feel, it's best to play it on the real thing.
Yeah, like I said, like for me, my rules of emulation and stuff like that is essentially like emulating a game to me is okay if there is no way to commercially get your hands on that game in a reasonable manner. Now, what do I mean by reasonable? I mean that like the game isn't extravagantly expensive. Samson, you either have to pay like $500, $600 or emulate it. Those are your choices. Okay. So if you want to play Little Samson, which is actually a good NES game, not just, a rare one, like I would say, fuck it, just emulate it. Because who wants to pay $600 for it? If you want to play Earthbound, don't spend $800, $1,000 on a new Earthbound. Just get it on the Wii U Virtual Console. Or if you don't want to do that, just find other ways to play it. Okay, it's a good game. You should play it. Now for games that have multiple versions of something, like, okay, fine. Like there's multiple versions of Chrono Trigger. Pick your version. If you want to play the closest to the original, I would say, I think it used to be on the Wii Virtual Console. I would say you can get the PC version and you can get a mod for it that strips it down to, its purest version from back in the day. Or you can get the DS version if it's not too expensive, because I don't think they did a reprinting, so it's kind of expensive these days. But I mean, there's ways. There's certain times where I'm like, okay, emulation is okay. Like if a game can't be gotten reasonably, then go for it. If it can, then go for the reasonable aspect instead of trying to do something not reasonable. You know what I mean? But those are my rules. Not everyone should, everyone's going to have their things.
Yeah.
Hacking your console can actually damage it. Well, yeah. Namco should give those 3 franchises a rest. There are other animes to make games of. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's yeah. Well, it's just
So mind
hacky
you
content.
that he bashes Dragon Ball Fighters for its visual appearance, even though there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, yeah, but it's subjective. So, I mean, he might not like its visual appearance. I mean, me personally, like, if I was gonna do a Dragon Ball fighting game, I would do Dragon Ball and not Dragon Ball Z because the power levels in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon
Or
Ball Z,
outrageous.
Dragon Ball Z is where the power levels got out of control. Dragon Ball is where power levels actually fucking mattered. So, like, when someone was more powerful than another person, you could see why. Dragon Ball Z just got ridiculous. It just
Wait,
got real.
what was his problem with the visual? Because it looks damn near like the TV show. So I don't.
He probably doesn't like Akira Toriyama's style of art style. I mean,
like
here's
he
the
might
thing.
not like a Dragon Ball Z appearance. But...
Yeah, like here's the thing. At the end of the day, everyone has their own subjective opinions about art style. Like I can't argue what is a better art style. Like certain art styles look cool to me, but might not look cool to other people. So I mean, it just depends on what you like.
Like I would say, Akira Toriyama made his art style is very, distinguishable. It's very iconic, but I don't think it's super great. I mean,
yeah,
it's
everyone's
memorable.
gonna
It's
have their
something-
favorite.
It's something you'll remember, like
Yeah.
when you see his art, but it's not like it's up there with anything.
It's iconic, it's recognizable, but it's not the most detailed. Like even back in the day when Akira Toriyama was doing his own shit and he was inking, he was doing his own like detail work. He could like really get ultra detailed. It still wasn't like, oh my god, this is like the best shit ever. Because when you're drawing, drawing is about efficiency because you have to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures and shit, and you can't spend like 15, 20 minutes on each cell. You can't do it. So they have to be able to do shit quickly.
Painstaking.
Yeah.
Think about how many animations like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z recycled because you have to. It costs money to make a new animation.
Yeah, so I mean that's why they had to do that, and plus Hayao Miyazaki, Tezuka Takashi is the guy who's considered like the father of modern anime, and basically that's what they did. He would take a simplistic art style and then train it down to these like background artists at dirt like dog wages, and that's how they that's how the anime industry was born.
Well, that's why you're able to have a show that can pump out 500 episodes.
Yeah,
nearly 1,000 episodes.
I wouldn't want to work in the anime industry. I mean, now it's better because you have technology and that makes it easier. But
name a Western cartoon aside from Simpsons that can go 500 episodes, where a company's willing to pay for 500, 600, 700, 800 episodes for
but even now they're using technology. Like personally, I like the hand-drawn look, but it's tough. I mean, why do you think such hand-drawn animation used a lot of the same looking stuff over and over again? Because it was cheap. They were trying to save money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but like I said, I still love hand-drawn animation over,
not hand-drawn. Or Flash.
That is subjective because it has since evolved to go through any styles.
No, I understand that. I'm just like I just said, my opinion is that I prefer hand-drawn animation over
Flash.
Just make sure you don't try to shove it down everyone's throats because people think you are. Because we will call you.
Frankly speaking, I don't really give a shit what other people think about it. I just simply stated my opinion, and I gave a reason why, which is I appreciate the work that goes into hand-drawn animation over computer generated, because computer generated, like a lot of the artistry of it is offloaded onto a computer. Almost cheapens the work that goes into it. But I'm a sucker for stuff that has human man hours put into it versus someone doing computer generated stuff into it. But at the end of the day, all of the shit's animated anyway. It's just one's animated the old fashioned way with pictures. Drawings and different cells over and over again with minute differences, and that's the animation versus you doing it with a program, which is it's the same shit, just the same result, just different ways of getting there. Do gamers not treasure their old consoles anymore? I mean,
some of us do.
Depends who you talk to.
It depends on who you talk to. I think most gamers don't, because a lot of gamers trade in their old shit to get new shit because they want to keep up with the new shit.
Well, which is completely just. I think it's dumb because you're losing money. It's not like you're really gaining.
Not just that. It's just, I don't see the point of just always trading new shit to get old shit. I don't see the point. I don't. And plus, now you're seeing more games get ported over to old shit getting ported to new shit, which is kind of a F you to people who own the old shit, because they always charge more. I see people, I'm gonna get Lego City for paying $60 for Lego City when you could get it for the old stuff for $20. Fuck. You just took your money and wiped your ass with it and threw it out the window.
I was gonna say, you used money like toilet paper would have been the better phrase.
Which is what I just said, except I used more coarse language for it, but it was for emphasis.
Highly coarse.
Yeah, it was for emphasis. But I think that a lot of gamers don't treasure their old consoles. They don't treasure the old games. Look at the sheer amount of people that trade in one game to get another game over and over and over again. That's what they do. They trade in. I'm going to trade in this Madden to get this Madden. I'm going to trade in these games to get this game. I don't understand it. And the exchange isn't equitable, because I've been to GameStops when people are trading in games. I'm going to trade in these 3 games for one game. And here's the thing. That one game might fucking suck. Think about the amount of people that traded in 3 games to get Fallout 76.
I like the whole renting model. At least, because back in the day when we were kids, we rented games. Because there are people out there that can't. A lot of kids out there that can't afford to get a new game, so I guess they have to trade it in and put it towards the new games. But it's just like the whole renting model, because you're not risking a lot when you rent a game.
Yeah, you pay your $10 or $5 or $20 or whatever, and you're like, okay, I played that game, wasn't that good. I took it back, and I won't be playing it again, right? Because I hate to say this, but a lot of games now have disposable experiences. They aren't I hate to say this, games aren't as well made now as they were back in the day. Even though technologically they're better, right? The graphics have never been better. The scope of the worlds they can create have never been better. And yet the quality of the gameplay you're getting
is lower.
The quality of the gameplay experience isn't as good.
Well, my problem is that when the whole people are talking about the NVIDIA RTX graphics cards and ray tracing, people are more focused on advancing visual fidelity than they are actually advancing mechanics and AI.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it real. I don't give a shit about, oh man, those graphics are better. Can you make a world where NPCs actually
have lives?
have lives. Like, okay, I'm gonna use Breath of the Wild as an example. Like the style. I'm not talking about Breath of the Wild per se. Imagine a Legend of Zelda, and this is not going to happen next gen or even the gen after that, but maybe 3 gens from now. Imagine a Legend of Zelda where you're playing as Link, and you go to a village, and that village says there's a monster village over that mountain, like through the pass over that mountain, and we want you to wipe them out because they're monsters and they're evil. Well, have they attacked you? No, but they're monsters. And you go over there and you find out these are monsters who essentially don't want to be part of Ganon's army, and they broke off and they have a little village and they aren't really bothering anybody. And you decide, you know what? I don't want to wipe these people out. I'm going to help them out, and you help them out. And that opens up an entirely new side quest. But because you do that, the people from the human village get pissed at you, and their prices go up. People won't even sell you shit. So then that opens up quests that you have to do in order to help them. Then it turns out that like some of the kids from the human village run away, wind up going to the monster village, and you have to help get them back. And it winds up, those 2 villages wind up having some type of trade relationship form. And you know, when you're not there, they do their own things. Maybe they wind up having trade happen. Maybe they exchange farm things. So the prices of goods in both places goes down, and certain things that used to be only available in the human town are now in the monster town, and vice versa. Or you know, you get called and this village is like, well, for some reason, the dead keep on coming back to life in our cemetery. Could you check that out? And if you don't check that shit out within an in-game month, the town gets overrun by the dead, and the people who are left there get pissed at you, or the town gets wiped out. The people who move away, gone. like that type of dynamic stuff. You clear out a fortress, and enemies just don't fucking respawn there after an in-game week. Like basically, like new enemies move in there. Like logically, like you clear out a fortress of moblins, then Lizalfos come there. Or you clear out a fortress of moblins and you go to the Hylian soldiers, and they send a detachment of guards and soldiers to man the place. So now it's like a fort, like a bastion. So the enemies in that area get weaker, and some of them just disappear because there's actually people patrolling the area and keeping it safe. Like that's the type of dynamic stuff. I don't give a shit about better graphics. I want better AI. I want better, deeper gameplay experiences.
Yeah,
shit about that.
Yeah, that's the kicker. I guess it's just easier to make things look nice than to write, you know, all of that logic down and make it come together in such a fashion where the game doesn't break.
Also, this type of AI also have to make sense on whatever plot the next Zelda game revolves around.
Look, I was using that as an example. I wasn't meaning like specifically that game. I was just using that as an example to express how better AI algorithms and coding could lead to a better game than just better graphics. Like nowhere in that description was like, man, those graphics though, because like graphics are good enough right now. We need better AI. Like how many times are we gonna have the same fucking AI in all these games where enemies are
programmed to do one thing only?
Yeah, they surround you. One enemy attacks you at a time, or instead like you want to raise the difficulty of the game, instead of making enemies smarter, they just have more health. That's it. That's how you make the game more challenging. You make an enemy tougher to kill by making them into bullet sponges. Congratulations.
Of course, when
looking at you, Destiny.
When mentioning better AI, they tend to mistake it for like make it more realistic by replicating it more like what real people do in real life rather than
it's just the goal is to suspend disbelief, not necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean make it realistic. You know, meet the player halfway at least when it comes
Yeah.
to.
When we say better AI, we mean basically AI that is either A, when the player interacts with it, it interacts with the player in a way that is meaningful and
but to these developers, better AI means make it more real, make it more as grounded as possible.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that's what they mean. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
some
that's not what
developers.
I mean.
I think some developers say that depending on the genre. Like certain genre of game making that makes sense. Like if you're playing, if you're doing a sports game, yeah, you need it to be more like if you're developing for NBA 2K or FIFA or Madden or whatever, yeah, you need the AI to be more like an actual football game because it's basically an arcade sim. I mean, a sports sim, or a racing game. You need it to be more like especially if it's a simulation racing game. It needs to be more like but I mean, if you're playing like a fucking shoot 'em up, like a first person shooter or something like a Ratchet and Clank style game where you're running down corridors, large corridors, but corridors with some platforming, shooting stuff. I mean, that's not realistic.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's just like, talking about realism or AI. It's like logical to the systems of that specific world. Like having having a Pona have wings and fly around like a Pegasus. That wouldn't make sense because, as far as I know, Epona's never been portrayed as a Pegasus in the Zelda games.
Yeah, they might add it though.
I mean, they could do it someday, I guess, but you know.
Speaking of your example, okay, I got an idea. Having a Metroid game where the pirates aren't aggressive.
Yeah.
Aren't straight up aggressive. Because every Metroid game, the pirates are always really aggressive.
Usually because you're the only force that's there to interrupt them.
Either that, as soon as they see Samus, they're like, kill the witch, blah, blah, blah. Or even if they see Federation forces, fuck those guys, kill them. Like basically they're total dicks, right? It would be weird if you played a Metroid game where they weren't aggressive. They were just ignoring you. Yeah, fuck them. Unless you're invisible or something, I don't know. But yeah, I think that I mean, I think that AI just needs to be more emergent. Like when the player isn't in their own routine that makes sense. So, like I said, let's say you're playing an RPG and you're in an area and let's say you're in an area, you did all the side quests in that area. Well, your actions, the side quests you did, let's say you completed them 100% best scenario, that should have an effect in the game, right? You helped the baker's son and the blacksmith's daughter hook up, so you're gonna get a letter like 60 hours into the game. We're getting married. Come to the wedding if you want to. You helped the village resolve their issues with another village of, let's say, lizard people. So the trade negotiations have gone on, so they aren't enemies anymore. Blah blah blah. Like shit should be going on even when you're not there. The world should have agency, even when you're not there. Like so many games feel like, well, we aren't doing shit until the hero, the player comes here. And I mean, that was fine, in the 4th and 5th gen, but now, consoles have never been more powerful, and yet they're still using shit from the 3rd gen as their template.
Yeah.
Which is why I do give props. I've said this before. I give props to Breath of the Wild and even Xenoblade Chronicles X and even Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I give credit for in terms of gameplay design, how there's like a lot of shit going on even when you're not there. Like people are living their lives.
Well, Breath of the Wild, while in my opinion it's a great game, it may not be a very good Zelda game. No.
Yeah, but didn't you say that Skyward Sword wasn't a good game either? I think
I didn't really particularly. Skyward
I wasn't
Sword,
in love with it. Skyward Sword was just like
it wasn't a bad game. It just
wasn't great.
Somebody tells me that you're probably falling under the Zelda cycle.
No, the Zelda cycle is on, off, on, off. Like, for example, people like Ocarina of Time. They don't like. Well, actually, let's go back to the original. People like the original Legend of Zelda. They don't like Zelda 2. They like Link to the Past. They like Ocarina of Time. They don't like Majora's Mask. They don't like Wind Waker. But now it's switched. Now they like Wind Waker.
They don't like Twilight Princess. Now they like Twilight Princess.
No, initially they did. No. Initially, a lot of people did like Twilight Princess, and then, over time they were like, well, because it didn't age very well, but because it had semi-realistic graphics, it had a more realistic art style.
And for me,
I always thought that Nintendo capitulated to the backlash they got with Wind Waker to make it.
But I mean, to be fair though, I mean, considering it uses the same gameplay engine as Wind Waker, the shit that you do in Twilight Princess would not have looked right if you had an art style that was more like Wind Waker. It just wouldn't look right. It would look fucking weird. I think the art style for the game works perfect well. It's just you have to go with the realization that the graphics are not going to be that good. But I mean, there are people who go back and play Final Fantasy VII, and the graphics in that game fucking suck. So, and yet people still play through it and they enjoy it. So, I mean, is Twilight Princess that bad?
Game. Yeah. I'm not even talking about the graphical fidelity or anything. I just thought
the design. Design's just kind of bad. Yeah.
No, like just the whole the art style. Like they completely changed their art style because all those Westerners, they don't like those kiddie, cartoony, cell shaded, those
cell shaded graphics.
Games. Those chibi graphics. They don't like those chibi graphics. We gotta make something a little more realistic, so they'll like us again. That's how I feel about Twilight Princess.
Here's what I'll say about Twilight Princess. For me, in terms of structure, it's my favorite Legend of Zelda game. Despite its graphics, which have not aged well. The game has memorable boss battles, memorable dungeons, fun weapons, fun dungeon items. Something that I cannot say about Breath of the Wild. I can remember specific dungeons from every Legend of Zelda game and cool moments from all those dungeons. If you ask me to describe a cool moment in Breath of the Wild that I did myself,
right?
It's hard to do because it's unfortunately, it's not that memorable of a game in terms of cool design, specifically handcrafted design moments. And like I said, I applaud they were trying to go for it and how they tried to open up the world, and they're like, well, you can create your own shit. Here's the problem.
You complain about Pokemon being same old, and yet you complain about Breath of the Wild being too much.
Yeah, but Pokemon and Legend of Zelda are two completely different franchises that are aiming for two completely different things and have two completely different design philosophies behind how they're constructed traditionally. So, it's literally you're comparing apples to oranges. They're both fruits. Well, they're both berries, but they don't taste the same, and
Yeah, but
you
based
don't
on my
pull them
experience,
apart the same.
people who complain about one game being the same old, but complain about the other game for changing too much. They expect they tend to contradict themselves over each other.
No, because they're not the same. It's like going to a restaurant. It's like saying create your own experience. You create your own experience. It's like going to a restaurant that you paid $60 to get into, which $60 at a restaurant, that's like basically a two and a half, 3-star restaurant, typically speaking. Like when you're spending that type of money, I'm not expecting to come in, sit down, and have the chef say, "Come on back here and fix your own food." Which is basically what someone's essentially saying. Well, create your own experience. Like I'm not like I'm paying you this money for the experience of you fixing a wonderful meal to serve me.
Or the other excuse. It's more fun with friends. You'll like it if you have friends to play.
I could have taken that $60, cut it in half, bought my own shit, and cooked it at my house.
Such pride and accomplishments these people are.
Like it's not the same experience. Now, Pokemon, on the other hand, in terms of iterations, basically, I'm just saying. Here's the thing, okay?
Comparison, I could just talk about the Paper Mario games rather than Breath of the Wild.
I could say Paper Mario the same thing. Paper Mario went from being basically this is like a light RPG for people. Well, actually, it was because Nintendo lost all their RPG support and they needed some type of RPG for the system, and yet they kind of had to get it out kind of quickly, relatively speaking, for the development time, and they wanted to get it out. A good clip, so they basically made a simple light RPG for the system using an IP that they had sole control over, which was Mario, and they made Paper Mario for the N64. Look at the time when it came out, I thought it was really fucking awesome. Now that I go back and play it after playing lots and lots, like more RPGs than I did back then, it's okay. It's an okay RPG. They took the formula. Let's say if this was a football game, they took the ball to the 60-yard line or the opponent's 40-yard line, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, and then they did Paper Mario 1000-Year Door, which in my opinion was a more complex game. They added not ultra more complex, but like a little bit more complexity to it. A bit more RPG-ness to it, and they took it in there to maybe to the 10-yard line, and then they kind of fucked up with Super Paper Mario, which Super Paper Mario has one of the darkest stories of the Paper Mario franchise. I mean, it's some fucked up shit.
I actually like Super Paper. I haven't rebought it. I think a few months back.
I mean, it's a good game. I'm not saying it's not a good game, but in terms of the Paper Mario quote unquote legacy, it's not even really a Paper Mario game. It's a platformer with like ultra light RPG elements, not even like light, ultra light,
it's lighter than Kingdom Hearts.
Like a piece of
same old.
Like a piece
wise.
Yeah, but the thing is and I said this before, when you pay for an experience at a fine dining restaurant, as my example, you're expecting a certain thing, right? Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so you go there, and so they realize they fucked up Super Paper Mario. So they're like, okay, we need to fix this. So they do the next game in the series, which is what was that one? Sticker Star. And
the
Sticker Star, they Sticker Star yet again. Them trying to reach okay, this is our Mario RPG. This is our Mario RPG series that's for kids. and still kind of. I mean, Sticker Star's bad. I mean, like literally, I don't even call that a RPG for kids. That's an RPG for people with brain damage. And then they do color
Color Splash.
Color Splash, which Color Splash for me falls between Sticker Star and Super Paper Mario, in that it's better than Sticker Star,
But that's a low bar.
but that's a low bar. That's like
Being the smartest kid at summer school.
it's like being the most fit kid in the fat kid gym class. Okay, that's not really an accomplishment worth bragging about.
I was going to say it's better than 0, but you can do a lot better.
Yeah, like Color Splash. Okay, I'm gonna take the gloves off. Okay, Color Splash, not great. Okay, let's see. The fact that you don't really have party members, which I mean, that was a fuck up. I'm sorry. I know they were like, you just
that is something I have to agree with, because seriously, the Paper Mario series and Mario and Luigi all had somebody else that you could work with.
Even Super Paper Mario kind of had party members. Well, yeah, no, it did. It did, because you switch between the characters and use their abilities. So I don't know why they just like, oh no, we can't have that. I'm like, fuck, whatever.
But hey, at least it's not the same old like you constantly complain about Pokemon.
There's such a thing as bad change. Don't start on me here.
Here's okay. Look, listen. Here's my problem with Pokemon. Since you keep on wanting to use Pokemon.
Oh yeah, because every time we even try to mention Pokemon, you always go on a ranting string about how it's the same old, same old.
Well, to me, it is. I mean, you know, it's like ad libs. Even though they may change the adjectives, it's a guy in white versus black, or a guy in orange versus red. It follows a lot of the same familiar beats over and over and over again.
And so
my complaint with Pokemon is this. It's very simple. I've said this before. I don't know why some people get a little on edge about it.
So are the Paper Mario games. They follow a similar beat in their storyline, but they
don't
themselves.
No, they don't play a similar beat.
Yes, they do. They
don't. The first Paper Mario game is basically a homage to all things Mario, where it's like it's a big homage to all things Mario.
The formula for the Paper Mario games are basically collect seven important objects before they go into the final world to face off Bowser or whatever evil entity that they have to deal with.
Well, not really, but the first Paper Mario game was a big homage to Mario lore. Like it's full of Easter eggs for Mario fanboys. Okay, so much so that the first boss is
the first boss that you fight would be the Goomba. No.
I mean, the first boss of the world is like a riff on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except they're Koopas, and they're inside of a Mecha Bowser. And Bowser thinks it's like the best thing ever because it's stroking his ego because he's an idiot. Like that's like a big deal. It's like really cool. You know,
I was remembering that now, because if anything, I was thinking the prelude.
No, the Goomba was basically the Goomba King was basically like a
tutorial boss.
He was like a mid boss. He wasn't like like, oh my god, this guy's really badass. But I mean, and that was cool, right? That was establishing a new franchise. Then you had 1,000 Year Door, which took that formula and refined it. Didn't sell as much, so they said, okay, we got to go easy. So then you do Super Paper Mario, which, I mean, like, I don't think it's that good of a game.
Well, it didn't sell as much because it was on the GameCube, and you know, back in that period, people still, it was back in that time where the GameCube was the Wii U of its era.
I'm not going to go that far. I think there are a lot of games in the 5th and the 6th and 7th gen that just should have sold more. that are good. It's kind of like how Metroid Prime 2, mechanically in every fundamental way, is a better game than the first Metroid Prime. Didn't sell as much because like people played the first one and they were like, I've had enough, and they off a little bit, which is sad because Metroid Prime 2, like I said, like that's a game where almost every game in the series got better over time. Now, actually, Mario Party is a little bit different. It's not Mario Party.
The Metroid Prime games, why the original Metroid Prime sold that much was because it was being sold off for free.
Mario RPG is a little bit different because Paper Mario, first game, it was okay. I mean, like the first game in a series, you kind of gotta, especially with something new that's not like an established franchise. I think the reason the first one sold well is because people originally thought it was going to be a sequel to Super Mario RPG on the SNES. It wasn't, because Square Enix had their face so far up Sony's ass they could tell you what Sony ate a year earlier. But yeah. Squaresoft is, I mean, look, I mean, sometimes when I feel sorry for them, I just remember all the shady shit they did, and I'm like, you kind of had it coming. But anyway, yes. Anyway, Square Enix, not my personal favorite, but anyway, yeah. And then you had the second game, which was slightly better, refined what the first game did. Didn't sell as well. Even though, I mean, it's a good game. Like mechanically, like I said, everything that was good about the first Paper Mario game, the second one did it better. Better world, better writing, or I should say in America, better localization, more interesting boss fights. The crowd mechanic was realized. It had some level of random stuff to it, but also had a level of strategy to it. It's just better. And then Super Paper Mario, which kind of was very different from the first two games. Good story, and the platforming mechanic was interesting, but kind of meh. Then they did Sticker Star, which sucked. And Color Splash, which, I mean, I hate to give letter grades, but if Paper Mario on the N64 is like a B minus, 1,000 Year Door is an A, Super Paper Mario is like a C, Sticker Star is a D, border on an F, depending on how I feel, and Sticker Star is like a C. Like it's an.
Don't you mean Color Splash is a C?
Yeah, that's it. It said Color Splash is a C. Pokemon's a different beast. Pokemon is a different, because Pokemon, by its very nature,
they're still pretty similar because both Paper Mario and Pokemon are RPGs. And no, do not.
Pokemon is not an RPG. Pokemon is not a goddamn RPG. I've already had this argument multiple times. It is not an RPG.
And I will continue telling you that it is still.
You can keep on. Look, man, you can die on that hill if you want to, but it's your hill to die on. I'm not gonna join you up there. But even if it was an RPG, the nature of Pokemon is that it's supposed to be familiar and formulaic, because it's supposed to go for that thing, for that crowd of people, to generate that crowd that go with it, because they got to be able to pick up easily. I have nothing against that. I've never said, oh, they need to stop having that. I'm saying that they need to have an advanced path for people who've been playing Pokemon for years and want something different. Now, I don't mean different as in, well, you can play Pokemon Rangers, a shitty spinoff that no one cares about. Or, hey, let's play Pokemon Snap, where you take pictures of Pokemon.
There are people who actually care about Pokemon Ranger and want to.
I understand that. I'm being facetious. I'm saying offer people the fucking option. Like, here's the thing, okay? Even 2D Mario platformers are very similar to one another. but they offer options in gameplay for people who are like really good at those style of games. There's more advanced, more expert level gameplay opportunities. What I'm saying is that Pokemon needs to do that. It would be cool if they play in the next Pokemon game, and I've said this before, if they were like, yeah, you can play the game as normal where you're some random 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid who gets sent, instead of going to school, gets sent on some grand adventure to do something with a team of Pokemon and catch Pokemon, and that's cool. But wouldn't it be cool? Just interesting if they were like, hey.
One problem though, what Pokemon you use in your team does actually affect your overall gameplay experience.
Lightly.
There's a reason why there's a thing called Nuzlocke challenges, where you challenge yourself that if either your Pokemon in your team faints, they are automatically dead.
Keyword. People have to come up with that shit themselves. Kind of like when we were kids and we'd play video games and we'd say we're gonna play the one life to do it ourselves. Like, here's the thing. Like, I have no problem. I can come up with tons of shit myself. I don't give a shit. Like here's the thing. I'm not going to a restaurant to fucking cook the meal myself. I'm saying, wouldn't it be cool to play a Pokemon game where, yes, you can play the normal mode that people are been familiar with since 1990 something when it started. I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I know it's been over 20 years. I know it was like in like 92, 93, something like that. I don't care about that. Yes, for people who want to keep that experience, good. But for people like myself who's like, I want to do something a little bit different. Hey, let me play as I think it would be cool, maybe an ultra hard mode where you can play as a villain with one of those shitty, like, wouldn't it be cool if, wouldn't it be interesting if you played a Pokemon game where you could play as a Team Rocket member with one of those shitty Zubats or a Raticate or Rattata? Hard mode, because those are shitty Pokemon.
I was gonna say, if anything, I at least prefer the contest route idea than going the villain route. But I get your point.
But you get what I'm saying. Or let's say you have a route where you can play as a bug type trainer. I know it goes against
all these arguments, all these ideas you're giving out to make Pokemon a quote unquote traditional RPG. You could have also said the same for Paper Mario. Since it's an RPG series according to your category.
Depends. I would say Paper Mario is more of an RPG than Pokemon because, Mario, well, traditionally in like 3 of the 2 games, in 3 of the 5 games, Mario has a party with each member has their own abilities and skills, and you fight like that, whatever. But I mean, I'm just saying it would be cool to have that experience. Now, here's the thing, never did I say, man, they need to get rid of the main base core of what Pokemon is, which is what they did to Paper Mario, which is where they fucked up. Okay, I've never said they need to stop doing the same thing they've been doing. I'm saying they need to offer the alternative in the mainline games for people to do shit that's different. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if when you're playing Alpha Sapphire and Team Magma or Team C or whoever the fuck
Team Aqua
is, whatever. Hey, you want to join us? Sure. Yes. That would go. I mean, that would be a nice little aside. What happens when you join the villains?
Then where
would that go?
If that were the kids, then I would also argue the same thing. Like, should Mario have the choice to join Bowser's army as well in a Paper Mario?
Why not?
Funny enough, we did join Bowser's army. Mario and the Mario RPG.
Mario RPG. He's like, you're now a part of Bowser. You're now one of Bowser's loyal minions. So I'm just saying, or like,
not Paper Mario, because
wouldn't it be cool?
Different universes.
That still would be cool. I'm just saying, look, man, listen. I'm saying explore the possibility. But I'm not saying they should get rid of the core. Like, I'm not saying, oh man, they should just get rid of 2D platforming in a 2D Mario platformer because I'm tired of 2D platforming. Like that's stupid. But I do think that they do need to change up. They need to offer alternatives for people who may be tired of the mainline standardized. I've been doing it since the beginning format with minor changes. Like I can't.
And
like I'm tired. I'm tired.
And they
Fucking tired. To you, it seems like it's different. To me, it's just really fucking boring. I can't.
Hey guys,
keep
I'm
on
gonna,
dealing.
It varies.
duck out, take a shower.
I'm gonna
I gotta get
bounce.
up early tonight.
Yeah.
I had to leave as well.
You got to get up early tomorrow, Christmas Eve. Damn.
Dang.
I work Christmas Eve. I work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So.
Oh, you poor son of a beep.
You poor man. Well, you go do what you got to do, son.
Is your boss Ebenezer Scrooge?
No, I just work at an establishment that's open 24/7.
Ouch.
Get back to work, Bob Cratchit. Well, you go take care of Tiny Tim.
All right.
Fox. Yeah, you got a little bit of a well done debate. Well, I might do another podcast later on this week, after Christmas, before New Year's. I don't know, because basically I've got like the next week and a half off, so I got nothing to do. I went to movies like 3-4 times, so I got nothing else.
I might end up taking enough PTO. I might take like an after holiday vacation or something. After all the craziness is over.
All right. So with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. You guys have anything you want to pimp out?
Who wants to pimp out anything
movies?
on Christmas Eve or the eve before Christmas Eve?
Well, I just recently shared an article, shared a video regarding why companies will never pitch an
idea that somebody else offers, and I already got that feeling.
Why studios won't read your pitch, and where it talks about how movie companies will do not allow unsolicited
emails.
Unsolicited emails, and out of reasons of plagiarism.
I would agree with you, except there's one small flaw with your argument. Star Trek Discovery. They stole a guy's ideas from his video game and put they literally their ideas, characters, almost the entire fucking plot from this guy's video game, which is sad and just really fucking sad, really. But I mean, I see what you're saying, man. It's kind of fucked up. I wish, because I mean, we've all had some really good ideas about better movies. Like Man of Steel could have been so much better if they just done this, and this. But it's not gonna happen.
Because I also use it as an implication that also applies to video game companies, especially Nintendo, since they will never pitch our ideas to make our preferred, what we think is a better Mario, Zelda, or Metroid title.
Yeah, they're gonna do their own thing. Here's the thing: you're never gonna get everything you want. People always say, "Well, why don't you make your own damn game?" I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna make my own game.
Some people are just too lazy for that.
Well, not just that. It's like here's the thing: in order to make a video game, in order to make a AAA video game, it takes a ton of people. And I'm someone who's made like 3-4 RPG Maker games. And when you make your own game, you don't feel like playing it because you made it. You know everything about it. So, I mean, what's the point of playing it? So after you've made it, because you know everything, you know how it's going to go, you know the story, you know the plot, you know how to beat certain enemies. It's just, it's not fun.
It's probably the reason why I'm glad that I actually am trying to make my own RPG system.
Okay. It's not that we're ignoring you. It's just we kind of went off on a tangent with our debate between myself and
me
and Pinky, and yeah, because we're already, as I said, Pinky, and we've gone an hour over time before we were supposed to close out. So we're gonna close it out now. But I tell you what, Jorge, I will be doing a special podcast the day after Christmas, and that Wednesday. And if you wanna get invited into the chat,
just let us know.
Just let us know. But you got to be civil. You got to be cool. No cussing people out or being weird. Just be civil. Just be civil.
And try not to be trollish or spammy.
Yeah, don't be trollish or spammy. So if you have any topics you want to bring up in that podcast, I can know where to fit them in. Just if you're interested, just let me know in the comment section of this video of this podcast once it's over. Okay, so I guess everyone pimped out what they wanted to pimp out. So next weekend is if we do a podcast next week's Sunday, BS Busters will be the pre-New Year's Eve podcast. So look forward to that, and I might do a podcast after Christmas. I probably will do a podcast because shit, I'm not doing anything.
We'll see what happens.
I have that week off. So with that being said, that's in the video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and just you don't have to play everything. Just play what you want. Peace.
And hype responsibly.